this shit around. Welcome back to the Second and Short podcast where the entire playbook is open. I'm Josiah.
I'm Christian.
I'm Jacob.
No, I'm Hayden.
And once again, for those of you who like to listen to audio only, the link for the description will be in the link for the Spotify will be in the description.
Wow, that was rough.
Yeah, that was tough.
I literally said, I need you to take lead today. And that's how we started.
Tongue twister, it's fine.
Okay.
It's only up from here. So, yeah. Some of you who watch regularly will notice our guest over here has been on the pod before.
Yeah.
This is Jacob Naples. You want to do a little intro? Tell us something interesting about yourself.
Icebreaker, friend of the show.
Something interesting about me. Man, there's not much, to be honest. I mean, probably the most interesting thing about me is that I have 4 older sisters.
Ooh, okay. And you're the baby?
I'm the baby.
Mm.
I'm the baby boy.
Yeah. Did you get dressed up?
No.
No?
No,
Okay.
I didn't get dressed up.
Wow.
I got spoiled by my mother.
Yeah,
But
fair enough.
other than that,
Yeah, most spoiled boys. That's just the way it is.
I mean,
so.
little perks, the little things.
Yeah. So, so this podcast, this episode, we're gonna go through and pick up kind of where we left off in the last one. So just to recap, what we did was we went through and we ranked as a group the top 10 players that wore the numbers 1 through 10. Sorry, the best player to wear the numbers 1 through 10. There we go.
Most iconic.
Most iconic. Yes.
Third time's a charm.
Who wore
Yeah,
best?
right. Who wore best?
Who wore best.
Exactly. Yeah. Who looked the best in that? You know. Just to recap what we went through last week. Number 1, we ended up going with Cam Newton. Obviously, the MVP went to a Super Bowl. Wore the number 1. We also made the stipulation in this that it's anything in the 21st century, so 2000 and on. So obviously, a popular one for number 1 is Warren Moon, but he wouldn't count because he played before the 21st century. Moving on to number 2, we said Matt Ryan. Again, MVP of the league, ended up losing a Super Bowl, but same idea. It's interesting
28 to 3 is kind of iconic
That is
in its own
iconic.
way.
it is, yes. Maybe more for the other side than the
Yes.
Matt Ryan
Yes.
side. But number 3, we ended up going with Russell Wilson. 2 Super Bowl appearances, a Super Bowl win, and a emphatic Super Bowl win at that. Was it 48-6 or something like that? Yeah, I mean, now, Steelers legend in addition to that. So, number 4, Brett Favre. I believe he did begin his playing career before the year 2000, but is known for that as well.
1992, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you guys didn't go Deshaun. I mean, that's pretty iconic. I mean,
Moving on. We had a little bit of a back and forth on this one, but we ended up settling number 5 being Jalen Ramsey. We did say that, because
Flacco was up there.
Flacco was up there. We had a couple guys that we talked about, but based on what he wore when he was at FSU, we agreed that the only reason he didn't continue to wear number 5 was because the league wouldn't let him, and now he's wearing it again, so that's why he fits that stipulation of number 5 there. Number 6, we went Baker Mayfield. Again, just based on, notoriety coming into the league, just, number 1 pick after being a walk-on, big personality, the savior of Cleveland that never turned out to be the savior of Cleveland.
Cleveland did him wrong.
He never rose from the dead like Jesus.
Yeah, not yet. He did a little bit in Tampa so far.
It was like
He's halfway there.
It was like if Jesus rose from the dead in North America.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Number 7, big controversial in mine because it wasn't my vote, but we ended up going with Mike Vick. Obviously, honorable mention to that one, Ben Roethlisberger, but Mike Vick, just with the impact that he had in the game, first overall pick, if I remember correctly, just electric. And he just, he changed the game a bit for the Lamar Jacksons and the guys nowadays. Speed run through these last ones. Number 8, we ended up going with Lamar Jackson. Number 9 went with the greatest kicker of all time, Justin Tucker. And number 10 went with Eli Manning, 2-time Super Bowl champion over the greatest of all time. How can you write the story of the NFL without Eli Manning? So, again,
It's good.
10 was tough because, we talked about Tyreek Hill. I think we talked about DeAndre Hopkins. They were
D-Hop,
guys.
Hill, and then
Yeah,
good number 10s.
There's a lot of 10s.
Number
but
9, Drew Brees.
yeah, it's just based on the name Manning, the Super Bowls, who he won the Super Bowls over. It's the answer is Eli Manning. So, yeah. So, let's dive right in. We're going to go 11 through 20 today, and or 11 through at least 19 today. And then we're going to kind of see what we all think. So, anybody want to throw any names out for number 11?
Larry Fitzgerald's got to be pretty high on
That's a
that
good one.
list.
Julio
Mhm.
Jones.
Julio Jones is another really good one.
I'm writing some of these down as we go.
This
Yeah.
is good.
Forgot about Larry. I just didn't think of
Larry's
Larry.
the first
No,
person I thought
that's
of
a
when
good
I
one.
thought of number 11. It's just in that Arizona
Bledsoe,
red.
I was gonna argue him, but
Couple
over
of
those two,
Patriots,
yeah.
Bledsoe and Edelman.
Oh, Edelman's a good one too. Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, so the list I have on here so far, Julian Edelman and Drew Bledsoe are the top two on there. A.J. Brown, and this is not in order when I say top two on there. A.J. Brown is some recency bias. Mark Mosley, Michael Parsons, again, I mean, just good career, very early in his career, still in his rookie contract.
Yeah.
Yeah. Henry Ruggs, again,
Iconic though.
iconic.
Mhm.
Sebastian Janikowski,
Well, that's a good one.
Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, when he was with Redskins.
Yep. Julio Jones, and then Larry Fitzgerald are the ones we currently have on there.
Wow.
So, I mean, does anybody have any?
I think it's between Julio and Larry, but
I mean, I would agree with that.
I'm going Julio.
Or
I feel
Edelman.
like-
Edelman's got to be in there too, just because like his postseason career is just like
yeah.
Remember,
second to none,
it's
other
not
than, like,
best,
Jerry
it's
Rice,
most
but-
iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Larry Fitzgerald probably had the best career out of those three.
Yeah.
I think Julian Edelman and Julio Jones are both more iconic.
I think it's
Yeah.
Julio. I just think because Julio was considered the best receiver at the time, a lot of people just looked at
Was.
him a lot and just watched his game.
Yeah. I mean, I think when I think of Julian Edelman, I think of Super Bowl MVP. I think of the catch that he had in the Super Bowl. I think of the incredible Wes Welker like slot receiving ability and hands that he had. He never
Also,
dropped passes. But you can say all those things about Larry
well,
Fitzgerald
also,
at the same time. It's like-
you got a guy up there, AJ Brown, who says he follows his game after Julio.
Yeah.
Favorite player.
and honestly, like, let's say that the
That's why he wears
Santonio
number
Holmes,
11.
the Santonio Holmes catch doesn't happen. Like Larry Fitzgerald's probably Super Bowl MVP as well.
Yeah.
Again, it's a what if.
Yes.
But at the same time, like that catch doesn't
Yeah.
happen. Larry Fitzgerald has a Super Bowl MVP and a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I didn't even think of Edelman, but like now you think of Edelman, it's like, all right, he was a quarterback in college, turned wide receiver, almost cut from the team,
Yeah.
turned into Hall of Fame wide receiver, multiple playoff appearances, Super Bowl wins with the greatest quarterback of all time. I feel like that's pretty strong.
Yeah. All
It's
right,
tough.
so we're going across. You want to start, Hayden?
I'm going Julio.
Julio.
I
Good pick.
just think Julio Jones mossing Luke Kuechly
Mm.
and then running into the end zone.
Mhm.
Like that's just forever in my mind. So Julio.
I feel like I'm gonna go Edelnut.
Mm.
I didn't even think about him until we brought him up because Larry was the first name. But
Yeah.
after thinking about Edelman, it's like it's a pretty strong case.
I'm going Julio. I feel like every year he came into the league, there's a nuts catch everyone tried going after. I mean, the one against Tampa Bay, him going to the goal line, somehow reaching all the way out.
Yeah.
Like 10 yards almost
Mhm.
for it.
I mean, I don't think there's a wrong answer of any of these three guys we're talking about. I'm gonna eliminate Edelman. Sorry. I'm a big Fitzgerald guy. Love Fitzgerald's game. I think he's probably one of the more underrated receivers to ever play the game. Was never necessarily looked at as like the crazy superstar, but was just like every bit as talented as these other guys. But I think when I think about these three receivers, like one play sticks out in my mind is like that catch that Julio Jones had in the Super Bowl where he went up and over the defender and then toe tapped on the
and toe
sideline. Insane.
That
So
was
I'm going
insane.
Julio.
Yeah,
So
not mad at it. Any of them are like
Mhm.
they're all iconic.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, you can't really go
Dogs.
wrong with the number 11 there.
yeah. All right. Maybe easy, maybe not. Number 12. Let's hear it.
I mean, there's only two guys, right? It's Aaron Rodgers and it's Tom Brady.
Yeah.
That,
I mean, he's got so. I mean, you're right. It's probably between those two, but I didn't think 12 was that much of a quarterback number until I'm seeing the list he has on his. It's all quarterbacks.
Yeah. I mean, there's not too many number 12s. I think Josh
Yeah.
Gordon might have worn number 12 at one point
mhm.
Yeah, he was the only
because he
like,
switched from
receiver.
13, I think.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think it's got to be Tom Brady. I mean, he's
Yeah.
literally the greatest quarterback of all time, most Super Bowl rings. Dude was a 6th round pick, like underdog story of his whole career. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't get much more iconic than Tommy Terrific.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, and I agree with what Hayden said. It's like there's two guys in the conversation here, and I don't really think that they're even that close. It's gonna be Tom Brady. As much as I like Rodgers, and as a Steelers fan, don't like Tom Brady. It's the answer is Tom Brady. Like you could even say Terry Bradshaw, but like when you think about the '70s Steelers, like he was never the top guy you think about.
Yeah.
Right? Like when you think about Brady, or when you think about the Patriots and their dynasty, the first person that should pop in your mind is Tom Brady.
Yeah.
When you think about the Steelers, it's like you could go down a list of 6 defensive players before you even get to the offensive side of the ball. It's like, I think the answer is pretty clearly Tom Brady. So that was 3 for Tom Brady here, right? Maybe 4.
I have a Tom Brady jersey. This is the one list, though, where Aaron Rodgers does kind of creep up on Tom Brady, I think. Just because, listen, he almost was a VP candidate this year. You have all the COVID stuff. You have all the press conference stuff. Like, if we're talking iconic, Aaron Rodgers deserves an honor.
He's in there.
Like I said,
He's like 3.
Yeah, but they're all pretty popular ones.
Yeah.
I have the Brady jersey, so I'm going Brady, but this is the one time where Aaron Rodgers has a pretty good argument on Tom Brady.
Yeah. I mean, I think Aaron Rodgers kind of bows out because didn't he switch to 8? Isn't he 8 with the Jets
Yeah.
now? Like
Because they have a
He's
13,
played 4
right? Or they
snaps
have a
at
12.
8.
Yeah, but
because
if you're, I mean, Tom Brady went to Tampa and he was number 12. Like, no question.
Yeah.
Like, that's his number. So I feel like you switch teams and you can't even get number 12.
Yeah. I feel you. Yeah. So we were all on the same page there.
Yeah, the GOAT wins.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, sounds good. All right, number 13.
I think it's OBJ just because of the catch.
I think this one's pretty unanimous, too.
Everyone for
No,
like 2
Kurt
years.
Warner.
I was gonna say,
Kurt Warner wore number 13.
Yeah, but everyone in the 2000s are like, oh, OBJ me like for 2 years straight. I would have to go OBJ over that. There's a ton of good 13s. There's Keenan Allen, Mike Evans who has 1,000 yards every year.
Mike Evans, Keenan Allen.
I mean, when I think of number 13 and I think of Kurt Warner, I think because he always wore 13, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, you talk about one of the only undrafted players to ever win MVP, right? I mean, up until last year, one of the only players, or the only player, I think, to ever win MVP and the Super Bowl in the same season.
He was the last person to do it
The
for a
last
while,
person. So, yeah. So, like,
also T.Y.
I just... Yeah, and like the story, I don't know if you guys have seen the American Underdog story. Like, maybe I'm being biased because I saw that movie, but like,
no, it's a good movie.
I don't mind the OBJ answer. I mean, he's been a superstar since he came in the league, but like, I think Kurt deserves a couple votes on this.
I think Kurt does, but also I feel like Kurt's that one Hall of Fame quarterback. Everyone's like, oh yeah, he's Hall of Famer, and just forget that he was that good.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I mean, he's also like, you got to think about the fact that like he's a reporter, announcer, whatever you want to call it now. It's like, if we made a list of top 10 announcers, he's probably not on it. Like, he's good at his job, but at the same time, it's like, does he have that it factor? Like, OBJ is in a big market, was an it guy. Like, so again, I don't know. I don't think there's a wrong answer between those two.
He really got
like,
traded because he was an it guy.
Yeah, I mean,
too big of an it guy.
I mean, I feel like I'm gonna have to stick with. I feel like I was definitely swayed towards Kurt Warner with that information, and I also gotta stay true to what I said before. I mean, you switch numbers and you give up on that number. I feel like it kind of loses some of its luster.
Because he went to 3 when they allowed single-digit numbers.
Yeah, exactly. He switched to 3 when he went to the Rams, and
which makes you think, like, would he have done the same thing that we talked about with Jalen Ramsey, where he would have stayed number 3 if the NFL would have allowed him to?
Exactly.
That's an interesting thought.
So I don't know. So I think I'm gonna put my vote on Kurt Warner. I feel like I was talked into that one.
I'm gonna go Kurt too, so you guys can.
OBJ.
Yeah, OBJ. I mean, I feel like once again it's iconic.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of fans, especially when you look at the 21st century, so I think that excludes Kurt Warner's Super Bowl MVP winning season. That was 1999, I think. So he does still have an MVP in there. He still does have 2 Super Bowl appearances. But the Odell catch is just the greatest catch of all time. Everyone was just saying the word Odell. Like, it's almost like when you kick a soccer ball and you're like Ronaldo, or like you shoot a little paper ball and say Kobe. Like, that was a thing for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Reminder, it's iconic, not best. I think Mike Evans has had a better career than OBJ.
Oh, yeah.
But if we're talking iconic, I think Odell beats his 2014 wide receiver made Mike Evans and the Hall of Famer Kurt Warner.
Yeah. I mean, those are all good points, too. And Odell, like, changed the game.
Yeah.
Every little kid playing football, like, wanted to do
hair,
the one-hand catch, change their hair, wear the gloves.
Yeah.
Everyone was like,
The
I want to do the Odell.
The socks.
The socks.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think that either one of them is an incorrect answer. So, like, we could either do a random number generator, or because we were both kind of on the Odell train, we can just go with Odell.
I mean, yeah, I'm down to go Odell.
I'm doing Odell.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's go with Odell then. Well, we'll take the humble route here and go with. That's right. Shout out to
Melto.
I was gonna say shout out
Shout out
Melto,
Josh
the humblest
Melto.
Josh.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, most humble guy on TikTok, Josh Melto.
Yikes! All right, so
guys, listen, man.
all right, number 14. Okay, we got a couple names.
There's a couple of good names here.
George Pickens, more recent. Andy Dalton, Ryan Fitzmagic. I mean, we didn't really throw his name out for 12, so I'll throw out Chris Godwin as number 14, just because he was kind of, I won't say he was forced into changing his number, but he because the GOAT was was going to come and wear 12. Like, imagine Tom Brady came and wore a number other than 12. It would kind of taint his legacy a little bit, at least a little. Like, so he was kind of forced into it. I don't remember if Tom paid him or not. I think he might have bought out his jerseys, so he didn't have to pay anything.
Diggs is a good one. Diggs is a good one.
What's Diggs wearing now? Is he still
He's one now because that's what he was.
That's when he wore at Maryland.
Yeah,
He paid Jimmy Ward for it.
I do remember that. So Stephon Diggs is another good one.
Couple of Buffalo guys, Fitzmagic and Diggs.
Yeah, I mean, Fitzmagic, man. And
Jarvis
Fitzmagic might be my answer right now, if I'm being honest with you.
There's also Jarvis Landry, but I think it is Fitzmagic.
I mean, Fitzmagic, I mean, even just that one interview in Tampa where he's got his chest hair poking out, he's got the sunglasses
kids in
on.
Houston doing like the math problem.
Yeah, that's the thing about, like, he has a nickname Fitzmagic, and he was so iconic for every team he played for. He wore 14 pretty much everywhere he went to. I think he wore 12 at one stop, maybe in Cincy or St. Louis, and then the other one he wore 7. Everywhere else it was 14.
Yeah.
So
big 14.
I feel like all those teams, all the moments, whether it was the Miami face mask where he's like getting his head ripped off and somehow completes the Hail Mary, the Tampa Bay interview, Christian mentioned the Houston interview where his kid is solving math problems.
When he talks crap on Tom Brady
Yeah,
and their relationship.
Ryan Fitzpatrick is just such an iconic player, and people don't realize how good his good really was.
Oh, absolutely.
And perfect score on the Wonderlic test. Little fun fact about him.
But
The Wonderlic test means, I was gonna say, Wonderlic test mean a lot.
It does mean a lot.
All right, so I think we're all in agreement then that the answer there is Fitzmagic. Great, fantastic. All right, number 15.
I have no clue. What do you have?
I mean, Patrick Mahomes is pretty
Oh,
iconic
yeah.
for 15.
Why would I mean, you didn't even have him either.
This isn't mine.
I was just brainstorming real quick. It's Mahomes,
It's
yeah.
definitely
But-
Mahomes.
That went right over my head.
Tim Tebow deserves
Tim
so
Tebow.
right.
Tim Tebow
that
definitely
one year, Jess.
I
Like,
mean, that was a really good
It
year.
was,
I mean, honestly, he might have a case. Everyone doing the little Tebow. I mean,
everybody loved it.
did love it.
John 3:16.
But everyone has Mahomes' hair right now.
Yeah,
too,
it's
so-
Mahomes.
It
Especially
is
when you
Mahomes.
add on his brother, his wife, like
Oh gosh.
His dad now.
Oh yeah,
Can we not
shout
add
out Cooper.
and just
Yeah.
everything with the
Right.
Chiefs too. It's just the Chiefs. is
Cooper
just
literally
fun.
made a whole
Oh,
episode
Cooper-
about his dad.
Cooper's gonna be mad he missed this episode just because we mentioned Patrick Mahomes' dad.
Right. Oh yeah, he would have said something for sure. All right. So Mahomes. I mean, that's a pretty clear one there.
Yeah.
16. There's a couple guys on this list. I'll read through them real quick. We have Josh Cribbs. We have Tyler Lockett, Jake Plummer, and then one that I added, Trevor Lawrence.
Jared Goff.
He's Jared Goff.
Oh,
That's
Jared
another
Goff's
good
a
one.
good one.
But I don't think it.
But
it's
he
not
when he
winning
wasn't
people.
16 with the Rams,
Yeah,
was
he was.
Was
He
he?
was 16 his whole
He was 16
career.
his whole
Yeah.
career. Wow.
Susie, who was at the top of the list again?
Cribbs,
Cripes.
returner, receiver.
I think it's Cribs.
Was
or
he? He
Lockett.
was a receiver, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
He was
he
mainly
was a very good
returner.
receiver,
Yeah, he was
but
mainly
he was mainly
returner.
just a return specialist. He was kind of like Dante Hall for the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's a wrong answer, just because I don't know if anyone stands out above the
Yeah.
rest. Like, obviously,
Yeah.
it may. I feel like this is one of the ones where a quarterback doesn't stand out, so it makes me want to go a non-quarterback. And me and Naples were talking off camera. Maybe it's just because he's here right now, but I am kind of in a Josh Cribbs mood.
Yeah.
I like Cribs. I
Josh
don't know.
Cribbs.
Lockett's pretty close with Cribs.
I mean, Lockett.
No,
Lockett's pretty
that's
good.
what I Lockett. You have the return value, you have the receiver value.
I'm
So we
just
just
checking
talking
some
about their
rules.
time in the NFL or their overall?
Oh my god!
Because like if you're talking
Joe
about
Montana.
we're
He
Since
didn't play
2000.
Wales, come on.
because if we're talking about all
Thank
that,
you.
like, I mean, T-Law was touted as the best recruit, whatever you want to call it, to come
Yeah.
up since Andrew Luck. you know, he went almost undefeated in
Alright.
college and
Yeah.
all
Here's
through
the
high
thing, if
school.
we're- if
like-
we're gonna-
Clemson, right? 2-16.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think
so.
we can count college because then all of a sudden Mahomes should have won 5 if you're counting both his.
Should he?
Maybe not, but Tebow definitely is getting 15 then.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
So
That-
I feel
I was
like
going to
we-
bring that up in the
It
last
has to
conversation.
stick,
That's
we
why I
have to
waited.
stick to just NFL.
Okay, well then I would say, yeah, I mean, other than being the first overall pick and being touted as something insane, like, I would agree. See, I like the Lockett one too. I'll go Cribs. I think Cribs is a good answer.
Christian was
I'm
trying so
Cribs.
hard to get a special teamer last episode. We'll
Yeah.
give it to Cribs.
Yeah, I mean, gotta go with the homer pick. I mean, Josh
kicker. I'm
Carroll.
still looking for kickers on some of these lists.
Christian, there's never
What?
we got Tucker. You're not getting another kicker.
Browns fan. What round was Cribs taken in?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Probably
I'll
like
look
the
it up.
3rd or the 4th round.
I'll look it up.
At Kent State, he was a Mac guy, I think.
He was Kent State Golden Flashes. Is that what it said?
Yep.
Golden Flashes. He was. Why am I tripping? Undrafted. That's why I'm tripping
Oh.
because he was
He's
undrafted.
not
I'm
drafted.
looking for the draft and the
I mean, he went to
Wikipedia.
Kent State, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kent State had Bree Archer and Josh Cribs.
Some speed.
James Harrison went to Kent State too, didn't he? Yeah. I mean, obviously he's not a receiver.
Mac
whatever,
Atcham.
but all right. Little bit of debate on this one. I think 17. You got Felipe Rivera. You got Mike Wallace, Devontae Adams.
Well, Mike Wallace is a really good one.
See, I think Wallace is the one out of those 3 that
That's-
you can count out immediately.
I think that if he would have had a career outside of Pittsburgh, there would have been more case. Like
Josh Allen.
there was an
Oh,
argument
yeah,
that
Josh
he was,
Allen. Too,
yeah.
yeah.
There was an argument that he was like a top 10 receiver when he was with the Steelers.
Yeah.
And
But then
he went
even
away
after
and
he
it's
leaves
like,
the
yeah.
Steelers, he doesn't even wear 17. He wears
Yeah.
11 until he goes back to Baltimore.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's Phil Rivers because I don't really feel like.
Who is? Oh, Josh Allen. That's what we
I
said.
feel like it's Josh Allen or Devontae Adams,
Yeah.
and I love Phillip Rivers,
Yeah,
but
so
if we're
do
talking
I.
iconic,
I think
Wow.
I think it's got to be.
I mean, I think Devontae, man, he was just so electric with the Packers, and then even on a bad Raiders team, like he was still putting up numbers. Like he was the only person you talked about on the Raiders,
Mhm.
other than Josh Jacobs for that 1 year.
Yeah, I'll probably go Devontae because I don't really feel like, even though Josh Allen's good, I feel like people more look at like Mahomes as their favorite quarterback.
see, I'm going Josh Allen. I don't even think it's close. How many good Packers wide receivers have there been? And then look at Buffalo. What was good in Buffalo before Josh Allen? Like that.
I mean, Tyrod Taylor got him to the playoffs.
I think that just
It's
proved my
magic.
point, though. Tyrod Taylor was the most exciting thing in
Okay,
Buffalo before Josh Allen.
I mean,
You have Jordy Nelson.
Shady McCoy, but I get that again at the
Yeah.
same time. Can he be in the 25 conversation? I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but Shady McCoy might be in that 25 conversation.
I mean, who else are you thinking of?
I mean, there's a whole.
I mean,
bunch of
yeah.
guys that you could throw in. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I'm actually in the same boat that Hayden is, because again, between those two, Devontae Adams and Josh Allen is where I'm at, and I specifically remember like it took a while for Devontae Adams to really get it, which is fine. Like, there's no issue
Yeah.
with that. He didn't burst onto the scene.
Yeah.
He took a very slow developmental
Jordy
route, which
Nelson,
is great.
Randall Cobb were
Yeah.
ahead of him.
I remember I went to a Steelers-Packers preseason game. It was actually
Jordy Nelson towards ACL.
Jordy
that
Nelson
game.
tore his ACL. So I actually saw the game that kind of catapulted Devontae Adams into a role with the Packers
Oh.
because Jordy Nelson tore his ACL
super cool.
catching a screen, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember before the game watching this young guy, number 17, jump in the back of the end zone and make this catch. I was like, wow, that dude is
He
insane.
Odell'd it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he did. But like, I just remember how good I thought Devontae Adams was, but he took a while to come on. So I think that the answer here is Josh Allen.
Well, I mean,
He burst
Josh,
on the
Josh
scene.
Allen didn't
Yeah.
burst on the scene. I mean, you look at his first
He
year,
started
like
year
he had
one.
such a down. Yeah, but he had such a down year where he was throwing a lot of picks. He
Took
was
him till
turning
year
the ball
3.
over. Yeah,
But
year
look at
30.
his
so-
highlights and that. Like Josh
Yeah.
Allen is like, I think a
He's
definition
the only
of iconic.
he's the only reason I say for first round picks. Now you have to wait till year 3 for them.
I mean, so I guess then a re-question. Where was he taken? Number 11 in his
7.
draft? 7? Like, he probably goes 1 or 2, right? In his draft, in a redraft?
He goes one.
He goes
He
1,
goes 1.
right? So then, I mean,
Well, who else
regardless
was in that
of...
draft?
Oh,
No, Lamar was in
Lamar.
that draft at the end. He got
Yeah, you're taking Allen over
I'm
Lamar.
I mean,
Lamar has to be the
I don't
right
think
system.
they-
I don't know. I really do love Josh Allen though.
I mean,
But
if I'm going
I don't
Josh
know.
Allen, I'm just arguing for Devontae. focusing on seeing if I can find anyone else too.
Eli Rogers. There we go.
Eli Rogers.
Yeah.
Forgot
Love that guy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Stud.
Although I think we're gonna go with Josh Allen, I'm still gonna vote for Devontae Adams.
So you're both voting Devontae?
Yeah.
And we're both voting. All right, let's do this. I pulled this up for the last one, and then we never ended up doing it. But random number generator, 1 or 2. We'll go 1 being the quarterback, 2 being the receiver.
All right.
Generate 2. It's Devontae Adams.
Devontae.
Again, I'm not mad about it. Again, I mean, I made my case why I think Josh is the winner there, but like, I'm not mad about it. Like, it's still, regardless of how many great receivers the Packers have had, like, Devontae Adams is maybe the best route runner out of all of them, and I mean, his hands are insane. So,
Yeah.
I guess I should say, are insane. So,
he's nice.
saying like a RIP. Right?
R.I.P.
Don't think there's much debate about this one, but you guys can bring somebody up if you want. We actually mentioned this, I think, in the last episode. Number 18. It's pretty clear cut.
I mean, yeah,
It's the sheriff.
Yeah, I was gonna say the sheriff.
It's the sheriff.
It's gotta
Like,
be.
it's not really.
I mean, you think of Omaha, you think of like just like the Manning name, like Peyton's gonna be like the first one of those that you think of, like him not only like with the Colts, but then with the Broncos, like getting them a Super Bowl, like
So that his number should be retired in both places,
Yeah,
and he's
100%.
still involved with the Broncos.
oh yeah,
And it's iconic. So not that he needed any help with the post-playing career, but he just kills at everything he
Oh,
does. The
goodness,
Tom
he's so
Brady
good.
roast, the quarterback TV show. Like
Yeah.
he is just one of the truly special human beings that everything he does is just amazing.
Yeah.
He's better at everything than everybody.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even his like, what does he do? Like those nationwide commercials
Yeah.
with Brad Paisley, like those are just so funny too. It's like
Yeah.
everyone knows Peyton Manning, like.
Oh yeah. I mean, he was a household name in his 3rd year in the league, and now it's like, every single person knows who he is.
The rich family history, whether it's Archie, Eli, now Arch, like
Yeah.
just everyone.
Well, first ballot, right? He was a first ballot Hall
Oh,
of
yeah,
Famer.
yeah.
So, all right. I mean, that one's pretty easy. Not much
No.
else needs to be said about that one. Number 19. I think there's a little bit of conversation to be had about this one for sure.
For sure.
Big receiver number. I wouldn't say that really any other position has worn
Yeah.
19.
Throw
So-
Golden Tate in there.
It's not Calvin Austin. That's
So,
ugly
yeah.
in it.
Galvin.
The guys that I've listed here, Miles Austin,
Okay.
because you got to remember post-career stuff too.
Yeah.
And even now, where he's at.
Yeah, now he's suspended for gambling.
Yeah. Amari Cooper,
Ooh,
which
my
again, I mean, if he fits our criteria of switching numbers,
did
like he
switch
wore
to-
2 at Alabama.
2 at Alabama and then 89 with
89.
Vegas.
He
So
was
That's what it
89 with the
was.
Raiders.
That's
we're
right.
looking
He was really only
exclusively
19
at the
with
Dallas.
Just the Dallas.
So
one,
there
which, I
is
mean,
like 3 or 4 years, but
and there's a case for that too.
Mhm.
This
Yeah.
time. Juju, which he wore 19 with the Steelers because he couldn't wear 9, and then he's basically only worn 9 since.
Yeah.
well, 7 with New England.
7. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. And then Adam Thielen
Ooh,
Yeah,
Adam
Golden Tate.
Adam Thielen.
and Golden Tate. Yes.
But Golden Tate, when did he wear 19 though? It was like
Detroit.
he wore 15 with Detroit. Like Golden Tate wore 19, but it was like at
Did he
the
wear
very
19
end of
with
his
the
career.
Giants?
Oh, I forgot he
Yeah.
was a Giant.
Yeah, he was the Giants near the end.
Because he was 81 with the Seahawks, and then he was
Mm.
15 for sure. Oh, he was 19 with the Eagles, I think, because I think he went back to
That sounds
15 for
right.
the Giants.
Yeah.
So, listen, I love Golden Tate. I appreciate the shout out, but
I forgot he was a Giant. So who was he gonna fight? Was that Jalen Ramsey he was gonna fight?
yeah, his
Yeah, because
ex brother-in-law.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Juju.
Really?
Juju's peak was amazing. Like everyone loved Juju.
Short, but amazing.
Yeah, he was a 20-year-old kid who was
Yeah.
just hilarious. You had the whole bike incident. You had the 2 97-yard touchdowns. He's the only player in NFL history, I think, to do that. You had the Vontaze Burfict incident where he basically got revenge for murdering Antonio Brown.
I mean, and TikTok. He's
Yeah.
TikTok boy.
His Corvette.
He is
He's
Corvette,
iconic
Corvette.
for good and bad reasons.
Yeah. I agree.
I think I would agree with that.
Yeah. I was gonna make a case for Thielen, but after that, like
Yeah.
smaller market at the time that he came in, like undrafted Minnesota guy. Like he was a Minnesota hoorah story for sure. But like,
yeah.
I do think that regardless of what you feel about Juju, like the dude again burst onto the scene right away. You know, even in college, like the Juju on that beat dance. There's a video of him at
Yeah.
USC like doing that dance. Like I think Juju's probably the answer.
That almost makes me. Who did we pick for 14 again?
14 was
Fitzmagic.
Fitzmagic.
Oh man, it almost kind of makes me think about Diggs more because the Minneapolis Miracle. Like,
Oh,
that
yeah.
was such an iconic moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Diggs, sideline, touchdown. Incredible?
Something like
Yeah,
that.
so
Yeah.
I think that's for both 14 and 19. I feel like that's a really good example of iconic first best because,
Mm-hmm.
especially for 19, if you name out all those guys, a non-household football fan, who are they more likely to know? Juju from the TikTok dances and all the controversy, or Adam Thielen?
Fair.
Yeah.
For 14, Stephon Diggs has a better case, especially with what he did in Buffalo.
Yeah.
But you're gonna think of the very hairy, smart guy that's on
Yes.
TV now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Very,
For
very
sure.
smart
The
guy.
very hairy smart guy.
Yeah. Okay. So all good with Juju?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. All right. I'm scrolling down just because I want to see some. Obviously, number 20 is the one that's next. Obviously, when people talk about 20, we're doing an all-time list. I think Barry Sanders is far and away the best answer with this. But obviously, he didn't play in
Yeah.
the 21st century. I think Jalen Ramsey should be disqualified because he wore the
Yeah.
number 5.
See, I don't.
Ours.
I think
You
that-
he could win
Really?
both.
I think that because that was one of the discussions that we had at the beginning of the list.
Uh-huh.
Like, is there anybody who can kind of
Frank
be
Gore.
Kobe?
Well,
Frank Gore's
I
21.
think
Says he
Ed
was 20.
Reed or Weapon X got to be at the
Gosh.
top
Ed,
of my
Ed
list.
Reed,
Ed
Brian
Reed,
Dawkins
I was
are
gonna
my
say
top
those.
two.
Ed Reed is
Yeah.
like literally the ball hawk, and then Brian Dawkins, dude. He like changed
Weapon
the safety,
X.
but yeah, he changed the position.
It's Ed Reed. You're
He
right.
was
It's
hitting
Ed
some of the hardest like hits, like all of his high. When you look up like NFL's hardest hits, like he's in 50% of them.
the
like, just
Wolverine
laying people out.
introduction at Lincoln
Yeah.
Financial.
Mm-hmm. I think Ed Reed's pretty clearly the answer.
Yeah,
I think Brian Dawkins is a good answer.
Yeah,
I think Jalen Ramsey is a good answer, but I think the Ed Reed of those
Yeah.
three is the best. Brian Dawkins is not in the Hall of Fame.
No, he is.
He is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
So I mean, you got two Hall of Famers.
the reason why I was gonna argue him is because he was 20 with the Bills, and what the freak? He was 20 with the Bills, and he did so good with the Bills for
Who
his
is
years.
this?
Frank Gore.
Frank Gore.
Frank Gore.
He changed his
Yeah.
mind. He did good for a backup, but for like a
Oh, yeah.
38-year-old.
We're talking about the most iconic player to wear 20, and you're like, he was very good as a backup.
His
Like,
name was.
he was the best
his
thing
name
in
was-
Buffalo before
he was,
Josh
he was
Allen.
Frank
That's all I'm
Gore.
saying.
His name is Frank Gore, and people still looked up to him.
Frank Gore Jr. is now in Buffalo, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah.
He is.
Interesting.
I don't know if he's.
We
gonna
think he
make
makes
the
that
team.
squad.
I don't
just
think
gonna.
he makes the team.
They went. They
He
got,
might make it as like like a third stringer, or he might make just be on the
Is it
practice
gonna
squad.
have
They all-
James
they
Cook?
all-
They're gonna have
James-
Ray Davis.
James-
Then
Yeah,
they drafted. Yeah, they drafted.
Yeah, so we made it 1 through 20. What time were we at here, Hayden?
we are only at a half hour,
So we'll
so
go through 25.
well, let's do a trivia, and then let's go at least to 25.
Yeah.
I'm looking ahead at 21, and good God, there's going to be some good ones.
There are
Yeah,
some good-
absolutely.
Perhaps Frank Gore.
There's a lot of good
Perhaps
Frank
Frank Gore for the Niners.
He at least was a starter when he wore 21.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's true. That's
And
true.
I'm just saying, people looked up to him still.
That's
Buffalo.
true. And he had a forever career. I feel like he was in the league for
Oh,
20
yeah.
years. So, all right. So here's my trivia today. And I thought about it because I saw a report that Joey Porter Jr. said that he was the best corner in the NFL, and I was
no
like,
one was doing what he was doing last
yeah.
year.
And so I was looking at that. I'm like, I mean, heck, he was a second round pick. He was in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. Like, I'm not saying he is.
Rookie.
That's I'm sorry. That's
Rookie.
not Defensive Rookie of the Year. That's what I meant. And I started thinking to myself, I was like, he's the second round pick and he was Defensive Rookie of the Year. So my question is, going back to the year 2000, how many Defensive Rookie of the Years have not been first round picks?
I couldn't even
It is
tell you
hard
the
to think
defensive
that
rookies
defensive
of the year.
rookies of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So Luke Kuechly was 2012. He was 2013 was Sheldon Richardson. He was 2013 or 2014
Aaron
was
Donald.
Aaron Donald. He was
Mm-hmm.
2015.
I don't even
He
know.
ended up getting cut or traded from his team. I don't remember which one it was, but he was
Landon
really
Collins?
good. No, he was really good, and he had some off the field and personality issues.
Josh Norman
Mm-mm. It is that position though.
at his corner.
It is a corner.
Marcus Peters.
Marcus Peters.
Marcus
Oh,
Peters.
He was-
love Marcus Peters.
Yeah, he
Think
was
he-
a first round pick.
He was for sure.
Mhm.
And we're trying to figure out how many were not
Were
first.
not. I'll give you a hint. There's a lot that are.
All right, so we're on the 2016. That was Joey Bosa, right?
I'd
Joey
say that's
Bosa
probably
was
like
the second overall pick,
probably
right?
like
or something?
six.
Third or
Fourth.
I'm sitting
No,
at
no,
6
he was-
to 8
he was
range.
after
Probably 6 to 8 of
I
them
think.
that weren't first rounders
Since 2000.
since 2000.
Parsons was a first rounder.
Parsons was.
Just because I feel like a lot of the first round picks just get so much hype in the media that it's like they almost just get voted defensive rookie even if they don't have the best season.
Jalen Carter won it, right?
No, Will Anderson, first
Will
rounder.
Anderson
Sauce,
was the first round
Sauce
pick.
Gardner, first
Sauce,
rounder. We're killing it on defensive rookie of the year. It's just not.
Parsons.
And they were all first rounders.
Yeah, Parsons.
Parsons, Chase Young, Nick Bosa.
Oh yeah. Did Miles win it his year?
Miles did not.
No,
17 was a corner.
Denzel Ward. No, he was the
No,
year
Alvin
after.
Kamara and
Oh, Marshawn Lattimore.
Marshawn Lattimore.
Marshawn
He was also first
Oh,
round
they
pick.
were-
They
yeah, they
Trey
were cut.
Hendrickson and
They were cut.
Ryan Ramczyk. That draft
Mhm.
was nice.
Wow.
It's tough, isn't it? Because
Alright,
it's
so
like
we
you
have-
want to say that everyone you mentioned so far is first round.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of those 2000 to like
2011 was Von Miller, I think. He was a
Yeah,
second
he
overall
was second
pick.
overall
yeah,
pick.
he was-
2010 was also a second overall pick. I'm sorry, 2010. Did I say 2010? 2010 was also a
The
second.
Ndamukong Suh.
Namakan Suh.
wow.
2000. Dang, dude.
It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah. All right, give them to us.
All right. So, the ones you haven't mentioned yet, I omitted this one when I was going down through the list because he was a second round pick. He's the most recent one. Shaquille Leonard
Wow.
was defensive
Shaq
rookie of
Leonard,
the
yeah.
year, and he
Good
was
on
a
him.
second round pick. Going down further, ones that we didn't name. Did we say Sheldon Richardson?
Yes.
We did. Yeah,
Yeah.
to start. Brian Cushing in 2009 was a first
I
round
was going
pick.
to say,
he was
yeah.
first round pick.
Gerard Mayo in 2008 was a first round pick. Patrick Willis in 2007 was a first round pick. We have another one, second round pick. He was in left inside. Wait. He was a middle linebacker
In what
What
year?
in the year 2006.
2006.
He is not active.
Navarro Bowman?
Sean Merriman?
No. Sean Merriman is in 2005.
Okay, so 1 year off.
1 year off. 2006. He is on.
Mario Williams.
No,
he's first
linebacker.
rounder.
He is. How do I want to word this without giving anything away? He is currently associated with the team, although he's not a player.
D'Amico Ryan.
D'Amico Ryans.
D'Amico
Yep.
Ryans.
Yep. And he was a second round pick. Going down, you have Sean Merriman, first round pick. Jonathan Vilma, first round pick. Terrell Suggs. I'm trying to remember if he was the one that I had on here.
He's first round
He
too,
was
I
a first
believe.
round pick, I believe. Julius Peppers,
First rounder.
first rounder pick. In the year 2000, Brian Urlacher. And then 2001, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Kendra Bell.
And I believe he was a first as well.
Yes.
If I may.
yes.
So, there's
So I
only
think
like
the answer
three
is
of them.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which, for those of you who are bettors out there, sports bettors, if you are putting money on defensive rookie of the year, your money should be on a first round pick.
Yeah.
It should not be on somebody taken outside the first round because it's probably not going to happen.
Unless it's Peyton Wilson.
Who do you think's got the best chance for this year?
I mean, based on the situation, I'm a big Byron Murphy guy, and I think he fits really well in Seattle.
does.
I could see Byron Murphy. I mean, you look at last year's, like a D tackle was in the top 3. The kid taken in with the Rams, right? He was a D tackle.
Kobe Turner and
Kobe
Byron
Turner.
Young were both there.
Yeah, so like I have a sneaking suspicion that I like Byron Murphy.
I think he's
so.
got
first, maybe?
situation. I really like.
First.
I think with the Vikings, I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
the
Dallas Turner.
Dallas Turner,
Dallas Turner.
obviously, but I think a really sneaky answer is Terry and Arnold for the Lions, the corner. I mean, they haven't had like really good corner play. Their first round corners have been terrible
Yeah.
and like don't even play for the team. But I think he's going to be like a stud. And the Lions are such a up and coming team. They're like high in the media. I think he could get a lot more attention than
Yeah.
like normally a Lions player would be.
Well, for sure, I agree.
So like the Terry and Arnold,
Mm-hmm.
I like
You'd
the
probably get
Eagles
him for good
DBs.
Eagles
Oh,
DBs.
Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper.
Listen, if Nate Wiggins goes out there and wins
Yeah, he
defensive
could.
rookie of the year, I'm gonna be mad
Yeah.
because I've been on the Nate Wiggins train for months now, and I was
And
mad
those
that
are the
the
Ravens.
Ravens got
Yep.
him. Watch TJ Tampa go out there
I'll be
and
pissed.
win defensive rookie of the
I'd be
year.
so pissed.
Wow.
4th round pick. right? Fourth round.
And
All
he was
right.
picked like 2 picks after us.
Yeah. All right, let's go dive back into this real quick. Number 21.
So you have Charles Woodson,
Mhm.
who wore 21 with the Packers. He won a Super Bowl. He won Defensive Player of the Year. Really cemented himself as a Hall of Famer there. The guy who I'm going to go with is one of the few non-QB MVPs that we have. He's still the touchdown leader, both in career and season. I'm going LaDainian Tomlinson, the other LT in football.
I thought you were going to go Patrick Peterson.
Ooh, Pat Pete.
I love Pat
Pete's a
Pete,
nice
but
one.
I think those other two are.
Yeah, I think LT is like
31 touchdowns in a season.
yeah,
Come on,
he's
stop.
and he's electric. He's like you think of NFL like street, you think of LaDainian Tomlinson. Like you want to use him like such a dynamic player.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's guys out there that we could throw out for this one, but I think LT takes this as the top. I mean, he's arguably a top 3 at his position of all time, maybe 5, depending on what your argument is. But, like, I think LT is, I mean, since 2000, there's a case that he is maybe the best running back, top 2 with Adrian Peterson, maybe. But, like, since 2000, like, Adrian Peterson, LT, that's probably the end of the conversation, and put them wherever you want in 1 and 2.
I mean, like 28's when we get to 28 though. I mean, it's probably gonna be AP. Little jumping ahead.
Yeah. All right, so we're all good with LT there. LaDainian Tomlinson. All right, great. All right, 22.
There's
I mean, King Henry's got to be.
Derrick
I think
Henry
King
is-
Henry's gonna be
Derrick Henry. I'm looking through the list
overwhelming favorite for this one. I mean, you talk
Any other
about
names?
2,000
again.
yards,
Could we
like
say Reggie Bush just because how he was supposed to come out? And
He didn't. When did he
said
wear
with college.
22?
Was
He
it
wore
with
21
Detroit?
with the
I
Lions.
thought it was with the Saints.
it was
25 with the
I was
Saints.
25.
It was 21 with
Yeah.
it. That's what I was thinking. I didn't know if he was Lions.
Okay.
22.
I mean, they don't touch King Henry, but honorable mentions to
I
McCaffrey
thought-
when he was with the Panthers,
McCaffrey's
Najee.
No,
But
Yeah, no,
I think King Henry's untouchable.
Matt Forte.
Matt
Forte is
Forte.
a good one. That's a good one. But I think Derrick Henry's
Yeah,
probably.
I mean,
too.
dude,
It's
they had
pretty
no one
easy
on the
to
Titans
answer.
teams. It's literally just Derrick Henry carrying them to playoff appearances.
Yeah.
Like him and Vrabel's coaching was like the only thing the Titans had.
I think nicknames also give you a big bump. You don't really see nicknames in the NFL
Yeah.
anymore.
Mark Ingram.
King Henry.
Ooh, Mark
Mark
Ingram's a
Ingram's
good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if we're missing anyone. I don't think we are.
Yeah, Derrick Henry at 22.
Well, I expected more for 22.
23. I'll throw out a name. Joe Hayden,
Devin Hester.
Devin
Ooh,
Hester.
Devin
It has to be
Hester.
Devin
Ooh.
Hester.
I mean, that's a really good one.
Which when we were like coming up with we're gonna do numbers 11 through whatever, and we got to 23, and I was like, Devin Hester's probably gonna win this. I was like, I wonder if he chose 23. If someone can look, I think
He
he
was a
might have.
corner.
Well, he might have wore 6 at a University of Miami, but I was wondering if he wore 23 because the Bears drafted him in Michael Jordan. Like 23 is very
thought he
iconic
was
in just
23 in
Chicago in
college.
general.
Yeah.
Yes. I thought he was 23 in college too.
He might have been, but I was just like, regardless, 23 in Chicago is
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like
Because he was corner and then they started using him as special teams because he was still drafted as
he
a
went
corner.
back and forth a
Yeah.
couple times.
So that's
yeah.
why he stayed as that, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
Hurricanes.
Devin Hester. I feel like
Patrick Chung. I don't know. I'm
Dude, we
saying
just
because of
named
Patrick.
Devin
Yeah,
Hester, and you're gonna
yeah,
name
I
Patrick
think
Chung.
that-
Devin Hester from the picture I'm seeing wore number 4 at you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so I wonder if that had anything, or if it was just dumb luck. But
I mean, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do like the Joe Hayden answer, but I think just based on the fact that Devin Hester is Hall of Famer, I still think the greatest returner of all time. I mean, there's arguments out there, obviously, for a
Yeah.
couple other guys, but, like, I still think that
Yeah.
that answer is Devin Hester. Like, the fact that you can be in the Hall of Fame as a specialist and not necessarily for the position that you
Yeah.
played is just, like, you gotta be a guy.
Christian,
And he
how
is a
happy
guy.
are you that we got 2 special teamers on this list? You were trying every single
Yeah.
number last week. We got Cribs and we got Hester.
I'm just doing honorable mentions just because I don't want people to be like, you forgot about him, Marshawn Lattimore, Micah Hyde, just in case. I just want people going like comments being like,
Man,
"You
we
guys
just
are
did-
stupid."
Swiss Army knife.
Did Deion Sanders end up making it to 2000 or no?
Yeah, he did.
But he retired and then came back.
21, yeah.
And then Baltimore was the last team he played for, and I think that was 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
He wore 37 with Baltimore.
Yeah, he wore
So-
21 to 2000. That's what it said on here.
It's just the year 2000. Or,
Wow.
Because that's what I'm saying.
Because he's definitely in an honorable
No,
mention for 21.
yeah.
Prime time.
I just didn't say anything, so I didn't know what y'all would think.
Especially with like all the stuff he's doing with Colorado. I mean, he's probably only going to be there one more year, but
If you look all time, I think you're
Yeah.
right. Prime time wins unanimously.
But yeah, I think Devin Hester's probably the answer we're going with here.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anyone else.
Yeah.
So we're
Throw out 24. I got two names I wanted to throw out there. I'll leave one for you actually, but because you're wearing them. I'm gonna throw out a name there. Darrell Revis is my answer.
that's what
it's-
first came to my
Hail the
mind.
pit.
It's top
It's maybe the best corner. I mean, you could argue him against Dion.
since 2000. Since 2000's probably the best corner
Yeah.
in the
I
league.
mean,
Like
Andy's Revis Island. Like he was
Yeah.
known for, all right, I'm going to be against you, and you're not going to get anything.
Yeah.
So once again, that the market, the nickname,
I
like
was gonna say that
Yeah.
people don't talk enough about how hard it is to play in these big markets,
Mhm.
and Darrell Revis made a career out of it.
Yeah.
Like
Hard Knocks with the Jets was around his prime. You
Mhm.
have the Super Bowl of New England. Yeah.
So I think that's a pretty
Yeah, I
easy
think-
answer
yeah, I
for
think
us there.
That's an easy one.
25.
I mean, you gave him the shout out earlier, and he's who's coming to mind right now.
Shady.
LaShawn Shady McCoy.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know who are some other guys.
I'm looking.
25.
I didn't see any, I was just going to do honorable mentions 24, but I don't see anyone there either.
Ryan
I
Clark.
can't think of
Right. I
many
mean, that's not a
25.
bad answer.
I
Ryan
can't-
Clark, like, I don't think he's on the same level as Shady necessarily.
But you
but
just
like,
see
But
it
remember,
his
we're looking at
podcasts,
post
too.
career two
Yeah.
pivot. He
That's
gets
his
Yeah.
pivots, like everyone listens to
I think
that.
Ryan
Who
Clark's
won
a good
22?
answer.
Who won 22?
22
Henry.
was Derrick Henry.
Okay, well, we should have given a shout out to Fred Taylor then too.
Oh, okay.
I thought
French
about
Hall
him,
of
but I didn't-
Famer,
Oh,
pivot.
really? Is French Hall of Famer?
Looking, Eli Apple for 25. No one thought that was
Oh,
right.
Richard
No one thought that was
Sherman.
right.
Gotta put his name there. I'll be honest with
Antonio-
you, I looked that up. I didn't just
I
think of it.
I feel like everything with the Legion of Boom, Sherman just being like,
Trying
and not-
me with
and-
a sorry
yeah,
receiver
try-
like
sorry
Crabtree.
receiver Crabtree.
Dude, that
I mean,
might- Richard
iconic.
Sherman might
I think it
answer.
should be Richard
I
Sherman
think
because I
Sherman's
feel like
the
when
answer.
Shady went to Buffalo, even though he was still good, everyone was just like, oh, it's
Yeah.
Buffalo.
I mean, that's tough. I mean, I think Sherman's definitely more iconic and famous, but Shady McCoy is just like he was so awesome, so underrated too.
Mhm.
Like he was just like
Chris
one
Harris.
of the hardest people
Jr.
to tackle.
Yeah, Chris Harris
that's another
Jr.,
good one.
Xavier Howard, some other good corners.
Mhm.
Sherman, though, I mean,
Yeah,
5th round
sure.
pick out of Stanford, all those
He
interceptions.
was a receiver. At
Oh,
Stanford.
really?
At least his first, I think his first 2 years,
Okay.
and then he switched to corner
Mm.
after that or something.
Yeah.
something.
2012, going up to Tom Brady and saying,
Yeah.
"You mad, bro?" When he's just a
Mhm.
5th round, no way. Like,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Sherman's
I
amazing.
mean, although he got cooked when he was with the Niners, I mean,
Mhm.
still iconic. 25.
I mean, I think
Ray
Sherman.
still- Sorry, go ahead.
Sherman's the only cornerback in the 21st century who even rivals Revis's prime.
Yeah, I mean, if Sherman could have played man, I feel like he'd be in a different
Okay,
conversation.
if he didn't like tear his Achilles.
No, I mean, the dude was incredible in zone coverage.
Then yeah,
No.
he could have played man still.
And I know Naples got him on like the Tyreek Hill play in the Super Bowl, but he even had a Pro Bowl season with the Niners. People forget.
Yeah.
So I
Talib wore number 25 for a longer time than I thought he did. Since 2008 to 2012.
Talib- I-
so when he was with the Bucks,
I
Yeah, I
love
didn't know
Talib
he really.
guy.
to lead for 21 deserved an honorable mention.
Yeah.
Probably.
Want to go? So Sherman, we want to go 26.
Yeah.
We want to call that a wrap here for
Let's
this
go to
round.
30. Let's go to
30, we
30.
can get
Do it. Well, I just meant 26 is the next one.
Yeah, 26. I don't know if I got too many people that come to mind. Like
I got
right
one.
off the top of my
Yeah, I
head.
got
As a
one.
Steelers fan,
I got
we got
one.
one to throw out there. So, I mean, in my opinion, a top 3 corner of all time. You could say 5, 7, something like that.
Yeah.
Rod
You're going with
Woodson.
somebody that.
Rod Woodson.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I
That's
thought
all.
you were
you guys are gonna like
I was
that.
gonna-
I would say Rod
yeah.
Woodson,
I was
defensive
gonna
player
go-
of
Well,
the year.
Rod Woodson did he wear 26 in the 2000s? That's the only thing because
Because he was only, he was with the
he was with the Ravens,
Ravens and
starting.
the Raiders. You might be right. Let me look it up.
I don't know. I think it might be Bell, dude. He was pretty
Well,
unstoppable with his prime.
Yeah, me and Christian
He
were.
was pretty nuts with his prime. No, he couldn't get stopped. He was receiver and running back at once.
I mean, also kind of disappointing though. You have the triple Bs and they couldn't win a Super Bowl. Like,
Shut the
You're
hell
not
up, you're a
wrong.
Browns
You're
fan
not
over
wrong.
here.
that's. I mean, I'm just
So it
saying.
looks like Rod Woodson wore number 26 with the Ravens. So that means definitely into the 2000s. And
Oh,
then who
Casey
was the other?
Hayward.
49ers.
Oh, that's a good. Yeah.
Casey Hayward, even though he's not going to get it. Raiders. I ain't not seeing much of 26.
Priest Holmes.
Hmm.
Oh wait, never mind. He only wore that in 1997. How many years did Rod Woodson wear it?
26, he wore it with the Steelers and the Ravens, so he wore it from 87 to 01 at least. I can't find Raiders. I can't find a picture of him on the Raiders.
I mean, he makes it into the 2000
Oh, there it
threshold,
is.
and I think he's
He wore 26 his whole career.
yes.
So I think Rod
I'd
Woodson.
say Rod Woodson.
How long did he play into the 2000s?
Until 01, he said,
No.
or 05.
03.
Oh,
Sorry.
Oh, three.
Through the 03 season.
Wow.
He
so
played 87 to 96 with the Steelers, 97 with the Niners, Baltimore Ravens 98 through 2001, and Raiders 2002.
What's that? A
2003.
16-year career? Something like that.
87, 2003, something like that.
Something like that. Wow.
Yeah.
And like 16 years playing defensive back is
Defensive Player of the Year.
yeah, that's a lot. I mean, I know he moved to safety a little bit too, but as most corners do later. in
Sorry,
their career.
17 seasons is what it said.
17. That's
He returned with the Steelers for a while too. So
Mhm.
I mean, that's my answer. Like
I mean,
I
Lev
think
Bell, Bell's a good
yeah.
honorable mention.
I
for
think
sure.
shout out to Casey Hayward too.
Yeah.
Like I think people mostly remember him outside of the Packers.
Yeah.
Like him and
Chargers,
Tom's at the
probably.
Packers.
Yeah, I
His
don't
time
really
with the
remember him
Packers
much
was
as a
good.
Packer, but I remember more of the Chargers.
Him and Sam
He was on those
Shields.
San Diego teams.
Shields. I forgot
Sam
that
Shields
name.
might
Did
actually
they-
end up getting it at 37.
They both left the same year and got paid, and Sam Shields sucked. After that. Or I think they chose Sam Shields instead of
Yeah,
Casey
Sam
Hayward.
Shields dealt with some injuries, retired, and then came back for a year with the Rams.
So Rod Woodson,
Yeah.
Yeah.
all good. Yeah,
Thinking Rod
I think it's a pretty clear one there. 27.
Dude, it might be Fournette here. I can't. I'm looking at
Lenny.
the list right now.
All right, now I gotta look because there's
Yeah, I
no
was
way
gonna
it's
say,
I'm
Lenny.
looking,
That's
I'm looking
interesting.
and I haven't seen anyone yet at the top of the
All right.
list.
Let's see.
I mean, J.C. Jackson
Oh,
has
dang.
1 year before he left.
Steve Atwater did not play into the 2000s.
Was Eddie George?
Oh, Malcolm Jenkins.
Eddie George did. Malcolm Jenkins. And I like the Malcolm Jenkins
I
one.
mean, I feel like I would lean more towards Lenny.
Over
Than
Malcolm Jenkins?
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about playoff Lenny. I mean, he was a beast at LSU. I mean, and especially when he went to Tampa Bay, like everyone knew about Leonard Fournette.
Yeah.
The bald head.
I think I'm going Malcolm still. No Sean Moreno. I'm crying.
I would probably go Malcolm Jenkins off of the names I've seen so far. 2-time Super Bowl champ, captain, really outspoken. He was like one of the leaders off the field.
Mm-hmm.
Won the Super Bowl with the Saints, right?
Yeah.
And then with the Eagles too. Yeah, I'm gonna go Malcolm.
I think Malcolm's. I'm good with that.
Yeah,
I think
there's-
playoff Lenny is a good answer.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that, but
And
like
here's a funny one: Eddie Lacy.
Ooh.
Oh,
And that's
there's
iconic,
another one.
though.
Chonk.
Yeah,
Chonk.
But there really isn't anyone for 27.
it's
Yeah.
not as good of a
Not a
list
ton.
as I would have thought.
Yeah.
Oh, Tre'Davious White a little bit. I don't
Trey
mention.
White.
Yeah.
So we did decide who. I'm sorry. Malcolm Jenkins.
Malcolm
Yeah.
Jenkins, yeah.
No, right now 28 is gonna be.
So he went back to the Saints late in his career, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Mostly
went
known
after
for the Eagles. I feel like.
Yeah, he left after his final
Yeah.
contract with the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
He was there for like 2 years or touch. They had him, C.J. Garner Johnson, and Von Bell still, I think. And yeah, they
Yeah.
were.
Well, let's get to this one because I feel like there could be a lot of conversation around this 28. I'll throw out there my favorite non-Steelers player of all time. AP.
Yeah,
It
it's
has
gotta
to
be. It's gotta be.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, who else?
I mean, there's a lot of 28s though. Just think
But
like
more than
there-
AP,
there
though. I
is.
mean,
There's
like,
some
I think it
corners,
is
there's-
Adrian Peterson.
I'm not disagreeing.
I mean, let's
that's my-
let's bring out the
yeah.
name.
We messed up.
What?
24. I still would have voted Darrell Revis, but we didn't even talk about Champ Bailey.
Oh,
Oh,
man, that's tough.
did forget about.
We didn't
Champ.
even like that's.
I mean, that just means he's not iconic. You don't even think about him.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something there.
Listen,
like-
I would have gone Darrell Revis, but that's like criminal.
That is, I agree.
Bring it
That's-
up.
It's
Like,
sacrilegious to talk about the number
Talk about
24 and
best
not
corner.
talk about how dominant
And talk about
corners
corners,
were.
yeah.
Yeah.
man coverage. Like, dude, did he switch to
Sub
safety
4-4.
in his career?
No.
No. Okay, he was corner his whole career.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think AP. I mean, even off the field stuff. I mean, like beating his son with that
Oh my
switch.
gosh.
That's
dude,
just.
stop.
I mean, that was all.
Iconic!
It is iconic. It's iconic. And then you got like those voiceover memes on YouTube and stuff where he's going peanut and stuff. So I mean,
All right.
everyone knows about AP.
I'll throw a couple names out there just for the sake of talking. Darryl Green played until 2002. Marshall Falk.
Ooh, Marshall Falk.
Curtis Martin played until
Yeah.
the 2000s.
I feel like it's tough.
You're forgetting one of the last good running backs, CJ2K.
That's
that's
another one,
And
man.
Combine Beast too.
Marshall Falk, I feel like would have a really good case if we're looking in totality.
Mm-hmm.
Marshall Falk might have him, but you have to remember Marshall Falk played 5 years pre 2000. Adrian Peterson played his whole entire career.
Yeah,
in the
Yeah.
21st
I'm, look, I'm not trying to talk anybody out of voting AP.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's my guy.
Yeah, I
but
mean,
like,
not only like obviously like we're looking at like do you know their name and stuff and like how they wore the number, but like also like AP's the best running back on the list. So like if you're gonna compare him to another running back who wore 28, it's like you can't really pick him over AP.
and honestly, like, I mean, what, tearing your ACL and then coming back and winning MVP, and did he
Yeah.
win Comeback Player of the Year that year as well? If he
Probably.
didn't, he should have.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
if you're the best player in the league and you're
Yeah.
coming off an injury,
And
like,
you come off and
should
it's okay.
inherently be
Yeah.
Comeback Player of the
And
Year.
he was
Well,
what
it's
one
just
of
like
the only,
sometimes like MVP doesn't win offensive.
and he was like one of the only people to like tear his ACL and then like it not ruin his career.
Mhm.
Like one of the few people. Like there was someone else who was really young when they did it. They were like
He tore it in
23.
like both legs too. I think like it was
Something
something crazy.
crazy.
Or he did the same leg twice or something.
Yeah.
Adrian Peterson never won comeback player of the year.
Wow.
See,
That's
that's nuts, isn't it?
He,
Dude, it's just
but he
'cause-
did win offensive player of the year, so he
Oh,
would have
see.
taken home 3 of the major
Mhm.
awards that year.
I mean, he deserved it. I mean, they should have.
Also, we can't talk about Adrian Peterson and not say that a rookie Adrian Peterson went for an NFL record 296 yards in one game as a 21-year-old rookie.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Like, that's so insane. It's still a record to this day. 296 yards. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Some running back struggle to get 300 yards in a season.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's tough.
that's a
Dude, and then I remember just like watching the game where they were just giving him the ball. He was so close to getting the single season rushing yard record. He was literally, what was he, like six,
7
six,
yards,
7
something
yards
like that.
away, and they were just like giving him the ball.
Didn't
like,
that
they
game like
tried-
go into overtime too? I think it was against the Lions.
I don't know. Yeah, if it was a
Something.
divisional game, he was
Because
really
Calvin
reliant on
Johnson was
Packers.
close to getting the receiving record too,
Yeah.
and they
Oh,
both
yeah.
ended up like a couple
Nin-
yards short. I think.
1938, I feel like sounds right for Calvin Johnson, but
Yeah, it's
yeah, which is the receiving record. He didn't break 2K.
Oh, okay.
That's what. Yeah, there's no receiver that's ever broken 2K, but Calvin Johnson's the only 19. I
Yeah.
Not even with the 17 games. Cooper Cup
Not
and
yet.
Tyreek Hill back to
I
back.
think
think.
I think
Justin
someone-
Jefferson at 18.
someone's gonna get it.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think one of either Jefferson or like Chase or one of these young guys, or maybe even Marvin, like a couple years from now, like
Yeah. Oh,
someone's gonna get 2K just based on.
I thought you were saying this year. I'm like,
Oh no.
I was like, if you think Jettas is getting 2K,
Oh,
you
no,
have
not-
a lot of
no,
faith
not
in
with-
JJ.
Not with JJ McCarthy. No. Sam Darnold might be throwing the ball there.
All right, so 28, I think we're pretty much unanimous is Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. 29, he's a little too old, but I didn't want to throw this out there because I think in an all-time list he wins this. Eric Dickerson probably wins that.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go DeMarco Murray.
He's also 29.
Harry, yeah. With
Eric,
Dallas.
well, that,
Eric-
no.
Eric
I'm
Dickerson.
saying Eric Dickerson isn't qualifying. He stopped playing in '93. He only played for 11 seasons, by the way. I didn't realize that how short his career was.
Who?
But I
Eric
do
Dickerson?
think Eric Dickerson.
11 seasons, is a long time.
I mean,
for a running
83 to 93 is what it's listed
back.
as, which
I mean,
looks
for a
short.
running back is like a long.
But yeah,
time.
DeMarco Murray wear with the Titans too.
That's right. Yeah, he did.
wear. So yeah, he
But
won
yeah, I
for
mean,
Titans.
I mean, you guys said his name. Like my answer for the 2000s was gonna be Eric Berry.
Really?
Like,
Let me throw another name.
Comeback
out
player
there.
of the year.
Earl Thomas.
Oh yeah, that's what
That's
I
a
was
good
thinking.
one, too.
Earl
man.
Thomas, man, he was maybe one of like the best safeties
sorry,
in the 2000s.
but being in the media for the wrong thing
That-
too.
I mean,
Career
yeah,
cut short.
Hey.
Like, really.
Yeah.
but that's iconic.
But the Derrick Henry stiff arm, too, in the playoffs.
Oh,
Right.
a lot of stiff arms, him just getting taken down.
His highlights and his lowlights. The guy who I'm going to bring up, I feel like it is Earl Thomas versus Eric Berry. I love DeMarco Murray. One of the few running backs to actually average 1,000 yards
Yeah.
per each year of his career. 7 years played, over 7,000 rush yards. LeGarrette Blount wore 29 with the Patriots.
Ooh,
Multiple
LeGarrette
Super Bowl
okay.
champ. touchdown leader. I think the one year he had like 22 touchdowns.
Odell addicted to weed.
Like Madden numbers. So LeGarrette Blount deserves a shout out.
Him and Josh Gordon linking up.
People forget. Sorry. Also, people forget about LeGarrette Blount is he came onto the Buccaneers and returned kicks. This is a big guy to be returning kicks, and he did it well. Like he was an athlete. So
One of the better running backs of the 21st century.
Yeah.
So it's, I know it's like my age and I'm biased, but 21st century running backs like are awesome.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing.
Yeah.
Darian Foster,
Great.
Chris
Darian
Johnson,
Foster.
Bryce Jones Jr. Shout out.
Doug Martin for a year too.
Doug Martin. Michael Turner.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Mike Tolbert.
Well,
Maybe Mike Tolbert wants 35.
Maybe.
There's going to be a couple fullbacks that get on in the next week.
Yeah. So based on what I'm hearing,
I like Earl Thomas a lot.
I think
we
I'm
got
going
Earl
Earl
Thomas,
Thomas.
Eric Berry.
I think I'm going Earl Thomas.
I think Earl Thomas.
I'm going Eric Berry.
Yeah.
I just think look, Hodgkin's lymphoma was what it was, right?
I mean, yeah, he beat cancer. I remember getting his.
yeah, he did.
I'm just saying.
Listen,
I'm just saying.
As a Steelers fan, every single game that James Conner played for the time he was with the Steelers, the game started with them talking about how James Conner beat cancer.
Dude, James Conner at 30,
I mean-
is he going to get it?
Keep-
I mean, I
There's
remember.
nobody.
I remember getting Eric Berry's BCA card in Madden. It was electric. It really was. He was one of the best cards in the game.
I'm going Eric
But
Berry.
I think Earl Thomas being a part of like one of the best defenses in the 2000s. Like obviously you've got like the Ravens defense and stuff, but like the Seahawks Legion of Boom was like a dynasty defense. Earl Thomas was like the best safety. I'm sure he has like an All-Pro or two.
Well, I'm looking here. Eric Berry is a 3-time first-team All-Pro, a 5-time Pro Bowler, 2010's All-Decade team. I'm sure Earl Thomas is on the 2010 All-Decade team too. But
Because Eric Berry's more of a strong safety and Earl's a free.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So looking at Earl Thomas, Super Bowl champion,
Yeah.
3-time first-team All-Pro, 2-time second-team All-Pro,
Ooh.
7 Pro Bowls, 2010's All-Decade team.
And
So definitely
probably like
more.
twice as many picks.
Yeah, so I mean, definitely
Yes.
more awards on the Earl
Yeah.
Thomas side. But again, you have the negative, even if that is some notoriety,
Yeah.
and you have the positive of the Eric Berry
Yeah.
side. So, like, I don't know.
Eric Berry, whole career with the Chiefs.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, that's true.
Even if it was a little shorter.
Yeah.
Because of
I mean,
the-
there was like a 2-year gap
Yeah.
too. So yeah.
I mean, I think 29 and like Earl Thomas was the first person that I thought of.
Yeah.
So that's why he's gonna be my pick. Or
I mean,
my
Earl
vote
Thomas
for
is a good answer too. I think I'm gonna stick with Berry.
Me too.
Yeah. So we got a split. We doing a
To wrap it up,
to wrap it up here. Let's see if I can pull my random. All right. So what are we doing? Somebody else throw out the people this time. Who's 1? Who's 2?
Thomas is 1, Berry's 2.
Perfect. There you go.
Yeah, he switched it up.
Berry's 2. Winner. Eric
let's
Berry's
go.
the winner here.
Eric Berry, you can't be mad at it. I mean,
Yeah.
they're both amazing safeties, both iconic people.
Well, Naples, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Officially,
Yeah.
friend of the show.
Yes,
Yes,
well,
sir.
thank you guys for having me. It's always a blessing to get out here, get on the couch, talk some football.
That's right, the big comfy couch.
Yeah, the
Ford
big
couch.
comfy
Yeah.
couch, yeah.
You guys might be too young to know that reference.
I was gonna say rivaling the casting couch, but
So the big comfy couch was a kids TV show on like Nickelodeon back in like the early 2000s. So not
So,
quite what you were going
Naples,
with.
what were you referring to?
we were just referring, to
You're never allowed on
a
the
couple
show.
of famous couches that everybody knows.
Did you star on them?
No, I haven't had the opportunity to do that. Maybe later down the road.
Oh God! All right, that wraps it up.
Yeah, we did numbers 1
As
through
you
29. I feel like we should almost jump to 69.
Yeah.
But on that note, find out if
Jared
James.
Allen. Come on.
Yeah. Do you remember when Gronk was going to try and change his number to 69?
He also missed a free. There was a story that he missed a free throw in his high school basketball game to keep the score at 69. Intentionally missed a free throw.
That's awesome.
I mean,
Honorary 69, and with the answer. Honorable mention.
find out next week if James Conner wins 30. Naples, I have a sneaky feeling we're going to be seeing a lot more of him moving forward. This has been the Second Short Podcast. We'll see you next week.